Hi everyone. I hope you watched the Intellivator. That was really funny. I watched that and I had tears in my eyes. Anyway, I hope you liked it. This is from Politico magazine, and this is about Brzezinski and his advising of Obama. A lot of people have said that Obama follows Brzezinski. Here's an article by him from May 2nd, 2014. What Obama should tell Americans about Ukraine. So, how do we even know that the masked pro-Russian fighters over there, supporters, aren't Americans or hired by Americans to do that? We don't know. And since when do people start wearing these masks where just their eyes are covered up? Isn't that sort of Al-Qaeda-ish? Well, it's kind of creepy. And also the depravity that human beings can sink to when a war starts. You know, there were people shooting into the fiery building. So that's so horrible. And I'm going to show you a documentary that you can watch if you can handle it. It's worse than Auschwitz. But anyway, what Brzezinski has to say is this down here. So he talks a lot about the Ukraine and getting support, but look, Obama also has to generate some degree of conviction in the West that this is a joint responsibility. And he has to convince Moscow that we are serious. A joint responsibility. Doesn't the West always do that, you know? They gather everybody together and go invade Libya, go invade Afghanistan, go invade Iraq. It's just a repeat, isn't it? If we are to deter Russians from moving in, we have to convince them that their aggression will entail a prolonged and costly effort. But it will be such only if the Ukrainians resist. Okay, so is he saying, does Brzezinski want it to be a prolonged and costly effort? Maybe. Thus, we should be making an effort to negotiate with Russia, even as at the same time we should be more open to helping the Ukrainians defend themselves if they're attacked. The Ukrainians will fight only if they think they will eventually get some help from the West, particularly in supplies of the kind of weaponry that will be necessary to wage a successful urban defense. This is so scary. Plus, they've given them how much money? 17 billion. They're not going to beat the Russians out in the open field where thousands of tanks to move in. They can beat them only through prolonged urban resistance. Doesn't this sound like Libya and even Syria? Prolonged urban resistance. This is what it's like they love it. I can just see them rubbing their hands together in glee when all this mayhem and death and fire and chaos starts happening. Anyway, then the war's economic costs would escalate dramatically for the Russians and it would become futile politically. But to be able to defend a city, you have to have handheld anti-tank weaponry, handheld rockets, and some organization. Okay, this goes on for another page, but I'm not going to go to that right now. But you get the idea, right? So here is a book that Brzezinski wrote, The Grand Chessboard. It's about American primacy and its geostrategic imperatives. So this page right here is sort of a review. But I want to show you this down here. Okay, well, here's Odessa, and here are all the pipelines. So these are really strategic. You know, oil is so important. And existing pipelines are these thin lines. Existing bypass planned pipeline are planned pipeline. Okay, it's kind of hard to read this. Tanker route. I guess these are tanker routes. Constanta, Odessa, Istanbul, Burgas. And here is proposed bypass pipeline in Turkey. So with all the oil here, it is something that the U.S. wants to keep their eyes on, that's for sure. And here's Ukraine, Russia, Georgia. Okay, here is the Baku-Cayenne pipeline. So you can see why these areas right here are so volatile. And Croatia, that's where Jesus Christ is right now, you know, on Lie Killers, the fake Jesus Christ. So look at this. Down here, he says this. All right. The technotronic era involves the gradual appearance of a more controlled society. That's happening. Such a society would be dominated by an elite, unrestrained by traditional values like liberty and democracy. Isn't that what we're seeing right now? They're unrestrained. Soon it will be possible to assert almost continuous surveillance over every citizen and maintain up-to-date, complete files containing even the most personal information about the citizen. These files will be subject to instantaneous retrieval by authorities. So he wrote that in 1970. Between Two Ages, America's World in the Techno. Isn't this exactly what has happened? Unbelievable. All right. Now look at this. This is more and just as bad, if not worse. In the technotronic society, the trend would seem to be towards the aggregation of the individual support of millions of uncoordinated citizens, easily within the reach of magnetic and attractive personalities. Well, who are they? Obama, magnetic and attractive personality, exploiting the latest communications techniques to manipulate emotions and control reason. Manipulate emotions and control your mind. Okay, that's why all this stuff is happening in movies, in music, with the leaders. Pretty scary, huh? This regionalization is in keeping with the trilateral plan, which calls for a gradual convergence of East and West, ultimately leading toward the goal of one world government. National sovereignty is no longer a viable concept. Okay, so that's a bit about Brzezinski. Do you know who he is? Do you know his face? So let's have a look at his face so you know he is. He's quite a creepy looking guy. See if he can come up right here. Alright, better type in his name. B-R-Z E-Z-I. Okay, there we go. Oh, what does he have to say? Okay, there's a lot of interesting stuff here. Don't we need all the, just, okay, there we go. Kind of a creepy guy. But look what he had to say. Control of everyone, their mind, their emotions, their reason, surveillance that can be brought up instantaneously, and whatever else it was. Oh, look, reptilian. He does look a bit reptilian, doesn't he? Okay, well, you can research him for yourself, and that who Obama is supposedly listening to, and that's been talked about for a long, long time. Scary guy. So what I want to show you is this. You have to go look at this if you want to learn about the cruelest death camp. I watched the whole thing here. It's not for the faint. It's really bad. And what it says is that one guy in charge, this is the people, I mean, worse than Hitler. He actually killed someone in front of a bunch of people and just right then and there drank his blood. And there were a lot of witnesses. So they interview people who escaped this, and thanks to YouTube and the internet, these people are now having their voices heard, and I don't know who took pictures, but they do have pictures. So learn about it. It's not just Auschwitz and those Nazi concentration camps. Well, they were Nazis, but pretty horrible. So there are a lot of omissions, you know. When we're checking out the news, there's a lot of news that we don't even know about. So it's all selective anyway. There's zillions of things going on in the world. Anyway, that's why I hope you had a laugh with the televator. I forgot what they called it. So funny. Alright, also check out this. Yes, Obama got the Philippine government to agree to the bases in the Philippines, but are the people happy? The will of the people? No. They're burning effigies. They're totally angry about it. They hate it. And this flag right here, these are not stars. These are skulls. No to U.S. bases. Return. Because U.S. had bases there before, so there you go. Alright, thank you for listening to this video. And be safe, because when the hell on earth breaks out in the form of these wars, they, you know, the beast comes out, and they don't care who they kill to further their cause. And we know who their leader is. The lover of death, who will do anything to be on top and surpass the Most High. So put your soul in the hands of Jesus Christ if you haven't yet, because that, if you don't, and you take the default and you go, I don't want to be them and I don't want to be with Jesus, you end up with the default side, which is pretty horrible. Okay, thank you. God bless everyone with the true truth. Be safe. See you next time.